All right. So this week, lots of things happen. And on Wednesday, we have the Fed decision to leave rates unchanged. Basically, it will be at 5.25 to 5.5% still. Nasdaq staged a fall through day on Wednesday. And then S&P 500 and Dow Jones also did that on Thursday. So strong gain Wednesday and higher volume came on the fourth day of rally attempt. So we want to look at that right now. So the way you count follow through days is you start from the first day gain. So that was last Friday, and then we have Monday, and then Tuesday is still near the bottom here, and then on Wednesday we had this jump right here. That's the reason why we had that follow through day. And then as you can see, Thursday, Friday it continues on. And now we're like above the 50-day moving average, which is really good sign, right? So this is a very powerful bounce. And last week I think we talked about the stochastics too, right? So we go to stochastic, you see we were near the bottom, and we're getting to oversold territory, and then this week we bounced from that. So really good sign so far, at least for this bounce. So we'll look at stocks at the end, but we want to see, okay, we have a follow through day. Are there enough stocks to support this rally going forward? I think the other big thing that we need to look for is this long-term trend downline. So we are exactly where it is right now. If we can pass, like, I'm thinking it'll probably like stay a day or two here and just test this 50-day line, like right here, and even a little bit here, and then hopefully it doesn't go back down. What we want to see is actually get out of this trend line, right? Then that'll be a much better sign. We do see lots of volume, right? Wednesday, like I say, follow through day, so it's up. Thursday, high volume. Friday, high volume. So this is a change in characters, right? Like, here we did have one day, but that was it. Here we didn't have any up volume. So so this is like a change in character, I think. So volume's coming in. Yeah, something good. What did the Fed really feel, right? They feel it done good enough job to raise interest rate to a level that is leading to a beneficial cooling in prices and growth. Now let's see if the next 2 months worth of data affirms the Fed is in fact doing its job of getting a firm control over the long-term rate of inflation. Put simply, Powell Co have gotten less hawkish. He's not necessarily more dovish. Inflation is still a problem. The Fed statement again made it crystal clear the Fed wants to stick with 2% inflation over the long haul, but progress is being made. So the Fed's rate setting committee agreed unanimously. Now they can buy some time to wait and watch. So market is really happy with this. So the stock market has its best week of 2023. Treasury yields tumble on weak economy data and Powell's comments. The 10-year Treasury plunged 29 points to 4.56%. It closed on its 50-day line after undercutting it for the first time since May. Clearly, tumbling Treasury yields have a major catalyst for the new market rally, just as the soaring yields drove the 3 months market slide. So we're going to go take a quick look now at the yield, and we'll see right here it is exactly at close at 50-day. So this drop right here is significant, hence the market rally. So the question is it going to bounce off 50-day here, or is it going to go down? So that's something to watch over the next week or two, because that will determine whether this rally have legs. It basically go opposite of this. And last week we also talked about how like at least 3 of the 5 days last week, like it tried to hit a new high and it couldn't. 1, 2, 3. and then they all close at the bottom of that day. So those are topping signals, and so it did top, and so hence the market rally again because of this, right? So something to really pay attention to now going forward, because it has found support at 50-day many times. And if this falls below 50-day, then it's most likely to go to 200-day. So that will give legs to the rally, right? So that's what I think paying attention to this will be very important in this coming week. Yeah, let's look at US dollar. So US dollar, it actually had a peak on Wednesday, which is surprising. Like, it was still strong, but then it finally cracked and it undercut many weeks, right? Like 3 weeks here. And you know, this is like already getting to a point where, so this was a fake basically breakout, and you know, this is a long run, you know. I don't remember the last time I see the US dollar ran that long. So now it cracked this support level, and now, you know, again, we're near 50-day. So if this US dollar like continue to go down to 200-day, that might also bode well for stocks, right, for equities. So at least for US. So let's see if that's going to happen. Let's look at the oil price. So again, oil price has lots of influence on the dollar as well. And you can see it has peaked here, you know, couldn't make a new high, and now it's starting to trend downward. So again, this is definitely very weak right now. And this is 200-day right here. So I would imagine it will continue, right, to at least go to 200-day. Okay, so yeah, this is gold miners. It did break out here, very interesting, on Friday. Yeah, and then we have gold, another gold bullion here. Yeah, it went up slightly too here. So gold prices are actually still holding pretty strong. So not sure what that means, but yeah, the relative strength has gotten weaker though. So but it's still holding above short-term moving average, which is a lot better than oil, right? So something is different there. So yeah, there's so many stocks. So we'll look at stocks and some macro as we go along. So let's look at semiconductor. Again, we have this bounce of the 200-day support right here. Now you can see the upper trend line. We're getting, you know, testing this upper trend line right now. It did surpass it, so that's really good sign. So let's see if there's a pullback. Let's see if we can hold this support line and then bounce off it. So that's good to know. So yeah, semiconductors are getting back on track. The software side, it's also same thing. So you can see everything has come back to the upper trend line. So this is the danger zone, right? Like, I think this is a danger zone because there's more risk now. Something to, you know, we're seeing that in the index, we're seeing that in this sector ETF as well. So we have to be careful that, you know, we don't want to get trapped buying here, and then it comes all the way back down. So yeah, there's a lot more risk now at this level. So let's look at some individual stocks this week that did well that day. Microsoft has obviously done really well since the report. It given back a little bit on this one day here, but then it bounced off the support level right here on the moving averages, and then it has gone up just like that did 6 days in a row. So this is a nice round cup base. Let's look at the weekly chart. Yeah, this looks even nicer on the weekly chart. So RS line is near new high. So really strong stock. Really strong. Yeah, RS line on the daily chart is also near new high, although it didn't make a new high on Friday. So again, we might see some pullback here before it goes further. That's what we hope anyway. So so that's Microsoft. Amazon, also very strong stock. The earnings really helped them, and again, same thing, 6 days up. So now it's have this really pretty deep cup. How many? 19% correction. That's okay actually, 19%. So yeah, so yeah, so that's Amazon. ANET is looking really strong. RS rating at new high. So here it's kind of trading sideways. So this is really good, right? So right now we're gonna see a lot of stocks have this pattern, 4, 5, 6 days of up days. So the next thing we want to see is even if it pulls back, we want to see it hold. And if we want to pull back like slightly, not too much, and especially like on lower volume. So let's see if that's, so for most of the stocks today that we're going to see, we're looking for that going into next week, is whether they can hold their gains, right? Because especially like this one already broke out, so it's holding their gains right now. You can see it's like trading really tight. That's a really good sign. Like I think if there's one rule, that probably one should implement, is like after a stock breakout, like after 1 week, if it still hold that buy point, that's a signal to buy in most cases. So now we are 3 days into it and it's still above that buy point. Generally that's a good sign. Yeah. So ANET is one of the stocks that broke out early. And then we have, let's see what else do we have on that day. Yeah, Meta. Okay, let's look at Meta. So Meta, it probably tripped a lot of people right here this day. I think I was one of them. So yeah, and now it bounced back, and this chart is not looking as strong as I hoped it would be. Even though there's a bounce back, but nonetheless it is bouncing back. Yeah, I would say Amazon and Microsoft is stronger, slightly stronger. Yeah, so anyhow, it's still not a bad chart. It's just not as good as those other two. So on Thursday, something good happened. So Nasdaq, we have a follow through day on Wednesday, and then on Thursday we have the same thing for the other indexes like Dow and S&P and Russell. So back-to-back follow-through day, really good sign of this rally. Again, headline was the rally, the market rally, as you're saying. Apple didn't really affect the market as much the next day on Friday. It fall on earnings. Not sure where it closed. Let me see where it closed on Friday. Let's see. Oh, actually up. So that's, okay. So here you go. Yeah, surprisingly, Thursday it moved up. Actually, yeah. So Friday it dropped, but then it bounced back and closed at the top. So that's a really good sign, actually. Yeah. So that was Apple. So anyhow, what happened? Unemployment claims was much more than previous week, and also index, really strong finish. So yeah, 1.7% for Dow, S&P 1.9%. S&P has the best day gain since April 27. 4-day streak, strongest since November 2022. So those are some really good stats there. Again, high volume gain marks a follow-through day for the index. Nasdaq also ran. Now it's 5-day advance on Thursday. Best since January, early February. Small cap has a huge jump, 2.7%. Volume rose on the Nasdaq, and this indicate participation by institutional investors. Gains were broad. Advancers led decliners by 3-1 on the Nasdaq, and better on 7-1 on the NYC. So some of the strongest stocks that day, let's look at them. LPG. So this guy, look at this run right now. So it really took off Wednesday, Thursday. Almost look like, I don't want to call it climax run yet, but it looks similar to a climax run. And then Friday, look at where it closed. All the way at the top. Really amazing. Yeah, the relative strength line is just going bazooka right now. So I almost want to say this is probably the best stock in the market right now. Yeah, anyhow. TS.
Michael,
okay.
one technical question.
Yeah, go ahead.
This RS line, is that I don't think it's proprietary to this in IBD, right? Is that correct?
So everyone calculate RS differently. So the way I understand, there's just straight RS, meaning like you just compare to 1 year ago and compare to the S&P, right? So that would be the most basic. But the way they do theirs is they put more weighting on the longer term. So I believe they use like 1 year, 6 months, 3 months type of weightings. That's my understanding. Meaning the 1 year performance will be weighed more than the recent 3 month performance in their case, right? So if a stock have been running a longer time, like like this one, since March really, it will weight more the further back than the more recent ones, right? But this stock went up a lot just a few days, so you still see a strong push up, right? Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, it does. But
Yeah.
I have usually, I'm just noticing,
Yeah.
once RS line start to rise, like it start to rise before even a big move.
Yes, and that's so it's called relative strength, exactly for that reason. It meaning it's outperforming S&P, right? So yeah, so we want to see that. That's exactly what you want to see. Yeah. So you can see I draw these lines here, like basically for me, what I look for is like, do you make a new high, and versus where is the stop price? Usually, if the price make new high, definitely our strength need to make new high. And if it's even stronger if the RS strength make new high, but the price hasn't even make new high yet. So for example, like right here, this one is more clear right here. So here's a line right here, and so it make new high right here on this day, even before the price make new high. So that means that it's not only outperforming the S&P, it's actually outperforming itself compared to this time frame here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So those are the two signals that are really strong, that I look for. And then if you want to take it one step further, it depends, right? If you're a short-term trader, you probably look at the daily more. If you are more medium, longer term, definitely look at the weekly. So the weekly, look at this, right? There's no reason to sell this stock if you were holding, say, after this breakout. You see what I'm saying? Because it hasn't even come down once. so that's relative strength on the weekly, right? So if you like say, if you're a more medium term holder, like holding for weeks and months, this is the weekly chart is probably better. But if you're more like want to stay in tune with daily trades, then probably the daily chart is better. But I use both. I try to have both to confirm my signal, but I do pay more attention to the daily than the weekly, like just because I do. So next stop that also did well, race, Ferrari. Yeah, like it broke out this trend line here. Thursday was really when it broke out. Look at all this volume that happened this week. Look at that volume. Something is happening to this stock. Someone's buying a lot of shares. It's the last time we had this volume was months ago. So this breakout is really strong. Look at this weekly RS rating, right? Again, really strong. Yeah, so daily looks strong too. So you can see right here, daily, it surpassed the RS rating, make new high, but the stock price did just barely make new high, right? So the relative strength not only is stronger against S&P, but it's also outperforming itself from this point right here. So very strong stock. So that's raised. So obviously a lot of these stocks are going to jump because of earnings, and that's what it did. And because we are in a bullish trend right now, and that's probably another way to look at the market, is that I think we are in a more positive environment right now because stocks are moving really strong on earnings. And we're not talking about one or two or three stocks, right? We're talking about a lot of stocks move big on earnings. So Shopify is another one. So really big on earnings, and then it followed through on Friday. So that's another thing, right? Follow through. Sometimes they gap out on earnings, and then the next day they start falling back, and then the next day they start falling back, and then they'll eventually test whatever the support level or moving averages, and then before they bounce again. But right now we are seeing follow through days after itself, so really strong even at the stock level. Yeah, so that's Shopify. Another stock, Palantir. Yeah, it definitely broke out from this kind of trend line right here. Again, volume is just super high. This is what you want to see on breakout as well. Another sign of something good. Highest volume since back in May. So that was also when it broke out right here. So that's exactly what you want to see. And then Friday it follows through again. So the stocks are acting really well right now, much better than I would think. Next stock, Melly. Yeah, look at this RS line. It's been going up many days, just like the index. Again, look at this volume right here. Like, tremendous volume. It hasn't broke out yet, but it's coming up on the right side. Yeah, really. Okay, Uber. I think Uber is a pretty good stock as well. Broke out right here. So a lot of stocks broke out on Thursday, right? As you can see, and then Friday followed through. So they have yeah. I think a lot of these stocks they'll probably come to the previous high and test that level. DoorDash also came out on good earnings, I think. So this one already broke out to new high. So there you go. So yeah, so we're gonna look at stocks. So right now, there's one thing. If there's one thing I always want to remember is the 10-day line. Stocks never deviate far from 10-day line. Very few. Most of them, they will come back to 10-day line. So if you miss any breakout or buy points, don't sweat. They always come back. Draw the slope line. So that's what I always do. Draw the slope line. See where is the closest you can get to it. Right? At some point, it's going to come back to it. And so yeah, I wouldn't chase stocks that if you already miss it. Draw the slope line, and eventually, if it comes back to the 10-day, that will be a good time to get new position in, and then see how it goes from there. So this is another strong one because this one broke out even before Uber did. So I think this one is even stronger. Yeah. So there's other stocks here. ELF is not doing so well. I think you pointed that out to me. SMCI. ELF is, I don't know. ELF doesn't look good. You can see the RS rating is going down. So that's not good. SMCI, yeah, they did good reporting. I don't know, the stock didn't move as much as I thought it would. So you see, all the other stocks we just saw, they move a lot. But this one, it didn't really move much. So I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know about this one. Yeah, I mean, Roku did well. Rally tumble. R-U-L-Y tumble. Okay, let's finish Friday here. Stock market surges as rally accelerates. There's going to be Berkshire Hathaway result this weekend. Stock market power higher Friday, boosted by a soft job report. So that was really good. Non-farm payrolls added 150,000 versus the 179 expected. Unemployment rate rose to 3.9%, so again more than the 3.8% expected. So market breadth was strong again. So again, we have the index follow through. Now we want to see the market breadth, and it is strong. Advances crushed these decliners again, once again. New highs outpaced new lows for the first time in more than a month. So a lot of people talk about this on Twitter. Really good sign. A lot of people follow this this indicator here, when new highs outpace new lows. So for the first time in more than a month, I think. So as we saw earlier, all the indexes are above 50-day moving average, except the Russell. So the Russell has the best week in 3 years, after tumbling to a 3-year low. So so yeah, let's look at Russell one more time. So where we were Russell, here's the big downtrend. It broke that downtrend line. We're seeing the 50-day line coming right now. Can it surpass this? That's going to be a big test. And then we look at RSP. This is S&P equal weighted. Same thing. They're all at the 50-day line. Can it surpass it? And look at QQEW, which is the Nasdaq equal weight. So this one is exactly aligned with the top right here and the 50-day line. So this is like probably the best chart to look at in the next week to see what it does here, because it aligns both the downtrend line as well as the 50-day line. So that will be a big resistance level. If it pass that with flying colors, I would say this rally is on. So that's that. Go back to my notes here. D King did well. Cardinal Health did well. This education stock is smaller, did well. What else is there? So yeah, so next week we want to look at, again, we talk about this trend line that they have to go above 50-day lines for some of them. Look at treasury yields to see if they continue to fall or did they rebound. Those are things to pay attention to. Fed Powell will speak again on Wednesday at some conference right here. So that might move the market. Again, it will be in the panel discussion also on Thursday. So 2 days he will be in the public. We talked about Charles Harris before this meeting about his trade journey. He posted, really insightful to listen to it. So let's look at the accumulation on the index. So let me go to here. So this is as of Friday. We can see this run right here on the advanced decline line, almost similar to the index level, has gone up. So this is healthy. And the one thing I noticed is the A accumulation distribution has gone up to B. So from E to B is really good. Nasdaq also went up accumulation, so meaning there's volume behind this move. So it's not just a bounce, but it actually has volume. And then finally we have Dow Jones. It does the accumulation also at B. So they're definitely, I think, pretty sure like a week ago it was like an E. I'm pretty sure E or D. So it has gone up very fast, very quick. So that's the accumulation side. So that's really good. So on the McBoss Capital, we track the accumulation distribution, and here's the industry groups here. You can see it rising on the number of stocks. So on Friday we closed with 779 stocks accumulated, and on the industry groups, we have a lot of groups. Like out of the 200 industry groups, there's like over 100 being accumulated, net accumulation, and very low distribution. And which sector did well? We can see retail standing out right now. We can also see industrial standing out. We can also see financial standing out. And the tech is a little bit lower, health a little bit lower, and commodities a little bit lower. And again, we have this confirmed uptrend on Wednesday. And so yeah, so that's where we're at. So this guy Jason, he posted Russell 2000, where it closed at 52-week low, and then surged to its best 4-day rally in at least 3 months. And then it says that a year later, the small cap index was high 100% of the time, with a median return of 25%. So if we blow up this chart, you can see like the time, right? 1 week, 1%, 2.4%, 4.2. So it's going up as time goes on. 2 months later, 7%. So by end of the year, it might go up 7%. 3 months later, 8%. 6 months later, 16%. So this is really good statistic, right? So sentiment really got really bad. Like on Wednesday, it was posted as bullish 24%, like pretty low. And then the bearish, sentiment was 50%. I mean, this is almost near the 1-year bearish high. So, and then the fear and greed index. I mean, this one actually, went into extreme fear much earlier than I would think. Like October 3rd was the lowest, and it has like, kind of stay fear level for a while, and then now it has come out. It's still in fear level, but it's much higher now. So the Fed Watch tool says that December 95% like no rate hike remain, right? So market is basically saying, hey, this might be done at least for this year. So the Fed Atlanta GDP is saying 1.2%. That was the first reading. So next week on the 7th we'll get the second reading. So we still, we're coming off the high for sure. Because last quarter was 4.5% or something, right? 4.9%, I can't remember. So that was the actual GDP, and this is Atlanta Fed estimate for Q4 so far. So obviously, yeah, it's still positive. It's not bad. And then finally, the economic calendar. There's not much news this week, so which is going to be quiet. That's it's going to be all earnings again. And if earnings good, I can see this rally going, because there's still a lot of stocks that are going to be reporting. Most of the big caps already report. Oh yeah, that's one thing we haven't looked at is all the big caps. But yeah, there's a Fed chair speaking at 9:15 on Tuesday. Not that one. Right here, 9:15 on Wednesday, and then again on 2 p.m. on Thursday. Let's look at Tesla. So yeah, so this one is bouncing, but not as strong as the other ones. Yeah, Google, same thing here. It's not as strong as Meta and Microsoft and Amazon. And then we have Nvidia. So Nvidia has bounced back quite a bit. It's now above 50-day line, so that's really good sign. Yeah. The RS rating is not as strong as I hope it would be, so that's the only caveat on this one. Yeah, I think that was it for all we did cover Apple, Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon earlier.